Hola Laredo, hello Laredo, welcome back to the Texas Border Chronicles show. It is our very first online short episode to talk about issues affecting Laredo with public officials and community leaders about issues that affect all our community. Welcome back to the show. As you know, our TBC team decided to take a break on TV and to start doing the show online to make sure that we meet social distancing policies and to make sure that everyone's safe. But we do plan to come back to TV as soon as this period of time passes on. Meantime, I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank La Posada, Laredo College. I want to thank, of course, Attorney Sergio Lozano and Joy Teres for continuing to support our program. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to continue with this show. And of course, the main issue here today, of course, is the issue about the coronavirus. Like I mentioned to you, coronavirus, the last show we actually did back in March was the coronavirus. And right around that time, I think it was the first week of March, everyone started hitting the restaurants, the places, everything got hit in terms of the hoarding, the grocery stores. And so at that point, we decided to go from TV into online because we felt that this is going to be obviously the future while we're all in-house and trying to figure out things to do for 24 hours a day with our kids. And right now, we've tested approximately 1,500 people so far in Laredo. Of 260,000 people, we've tested only 1,500 people. Obviously, we're going to have to do quite a few more tests before we have to get a good handle about what's going on. Unfortunately, we've had 10 people who have passed away. We've had a 6-month child who has actually gotten the infection. We've had a 96-year-old female who got the infection as well. And we've had a lot of people in between. The average age of the coronavirus in Laredo is actually 46 years old. It's a female, strangely enough, because those are not the numbers that you get nationwide. It's mostly male. And of course, it's older people. But in this case, we've got a lot of younger people that skewed the numbers down. But I still think, though, that in spite of what's happened in Laredo, I think we're going to continue to get better. But you cannot hide the fact that we've had at least 10 people who have passed away. You've got 350 people, Laredoans, every day, who are worried to see whether or not they have the virus, because the city of Laredo has not produced them the reports for different reasons, but they haven't produced them. And I'm glad, though, that the school districts have come through, providing food for our young ones, breakfast and lunch. I'm so grateful for their foresight, for being able to be a part of the team and try to do what they can for the community. But meantime, I do want to thank the people of Laredo because we've all stayed home for the most part. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, we've basically behaved and we stayed home. And we've also showed resiliency. We've showed compassion and patience. Well, we've showed a lot of patience, and I'm grateful for that. And we try to stay home as best as we can. And there's about 200-300 citations out there for people who haven't followed the rules. But in a few minutes, we're going to talk to someone who's definitely very familiar with that. I do thank members of the media. I think KGNS has done a good job. I think Laredo Times has done a good job. Even Gordiloca, in her way, she reaches a lot of people. She's done a good job as far as I'm concerned. Some people may disagree with me, but the point of the matter is that we the more information we give the public in pandemic situations, the better overall. So I'm hopeful the city will be able to let us know when they think they'll reach our. In the meantime, obviously the ordinance is needed, and we need to make sure that we follow through with the stay-at-home orders. And so, meantime, we're pretty lucky to have a very good friend of mine, the Honorable Judge Nathan Chu, who will share some of his thoughts about the pandemic and about the courthouse. Welcome, Judge. Judge, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on again.
Well, thank you for making it. How was your Easter?
Easter was different, significantly so. We missed our friends, our extended family. We missed the Easter egg hunts. We missed Mass with everybody, but we've managed to get together as a family and still celebrate it.
Good. That's good. Well, on our part, we had a lot of barbecues at our own homes, pretty much, and celebrated just within our own immediate family. But there were a lot of Skypes and Zoom calls and so on. So everybody sort of more or less made it up.
Yes.
Hopefully, this will only to be temporary. We'll be able to communicate more easily as time goes on. So, Judge, what are your thoughts about the stay-at-home ordinance and work only for essential people?
I think
How's it playing out for you?
well, it's working because I see it in our courts. We have been starting to adjudicate some of those cases as they come on board. The most significant thing is we tell people, look, there's a reason why our chief of police and the sheriff and everybody's enforcing this ordinance because it's there to protect us and protect your family and protect everyone else.
Right. And so, as they're coming before you, are you treating this case? Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, in municipal court, how are you handling the social distancing and stuff like that?
Well, in municipal court, Judge Dominguez has established a docket for virtual court, and we hold about 3 and sometimes 4 different court settings from 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. We have court settings for attorneys. We have court settings for people that just show up. We send them links through text or through their email, and they sign on.
And how's that working out in terms of the, I guess, the overcrowdedness or the how are you spacing them out? I mean, is there spacing procedures?
Yes, physically, the essential personnel that work at the courthouse are spaced. They have their own station. They're working there, and everybody that call in, they're calling in from their home or work or different places.
Good. So it's working out. It seems. Do you foresee? You've had at least 200 citations filed, I think, or there's, as far as I'm aware, as of now. Have you heard whether or not there's going to be a whole bunch coming up, or is that pretty much where you're going to be for both you and Judge Dominguez?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it's for the community also and for our law enforcement personnel. I think as long as we get the message out that please stay home to that protect yourself and others, then these citations will diminish. Hopefully so.
And I'm hopeful it does because we've been at it for about 3 weeks now, and I tend to think that obviously we'll get to the point somewhere in May where these things may plateau, and hopefully those citations won't be coming in as much anymore.
Yeah, I think what we have to worry about is in the bigger cities such as San Antonio, where you have a lot of holdouts and folks that are just adamant to stay open. We don't have that here. By and large, we have everybody here that are abiding by the stay-at-home ordinance.
Definitely. I see the same thing. I see the same trend. I think for the most part, people have been very good about following it.
Yes, sir.
And I congratulate the public for doing such a great job. I mean, only through social distancing and following these procedures, I think we'll be okay. But it's certainly very difficult for a lot of people. I mean, I understand that.
We see the numbers rise and it's alarming, but imagine if we didn't have these rules in place. Imagine if our leaders didn't have the foresight to do this, it would be, triple or even more folks in the hospital or, a lot higher.
Definitely. And I really am glad that they followed through. I'm still waiting to see what happens with the schools. Of course, the governor should be announcing any day now what he plans to do. Regardless, I still think we're going to be under this cloud or this issue for the next couple of weeks. And I hope people follow your advice to make sure that they stay home.
As we all know, this is a brand new virus. No one has vaccines to it. So even if we try to come back, we still have to continue these social distancing procedures because it may die down, but we can still get it. So that's always, in people's mind until we get a vaccine for it.
That's right. And I think we're not talking about it until next year. So we're going to have to do a whole show on this issue later on with Dr. Gonzalez or the mayor or one of those parties because they certainly know more than what we're seeing so far. But I want to thank you, Judge, for your time. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you maybe sometime next week, and we can add some more about the stories that we've heard so far.
Anytime.
Okay. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Judge, for being here. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Just a reminder to the viewing public, please, you can follow us at Texas Border Chronicles Facebook page or the 24/7 Laredo page as well, or you can follow us at the tbcltx.com, where we have our website as well. So on behalf of the TBC team, thank you for watching. We'll be seeing you again sometime next week. This will be the new TBC for the time being.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.
Take care.